Oh, hello.
Ah.
All right. So as everyone comes in, Jenny is gonna be letting everybody in one by one. Oh, Giacomo is here. Big deal.
Hey,
Big deal.
hey, Nikki. Hi.
The
Hi,
reason
everyone.
that we know Rachel in the first place.
So excited for today. Absolutely.
And what
Let's
time is it
go.
now? This is a better time.
Yeah, it's 8 p.m., so it's a little bit early than usual. But yeah, after it, I'm going to cook something and have dinner. But yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm so excited for it today, and so excited to have Rachel here. It's going to be great for sure. So hi, everyone, and
Fabulous.
let's go. Yeah,
I love the good Italy 8 p.m. and then I'm gonna get dinner. You crazy.
yeah.
Um, Billy, awesome. Oh, so cool to see you guys. Hey, Kyle.
Hi.
So, I want to start this off as everyone's coming in to what we did in our last mentor masterclass was if you are wanting to put your camera on and unmute, maybe like put your, or I can just call on whoever who has the camera on and introduce yourself, say where you're coming from, where you live right now, what your current job is, or if you're looking for a job, just a little bit about yourself. And then at the end, I would love to hear like what you're hoping to get out of this in particular, because I think that Rachel can kind of craft what she says based on what you guys are kind of hoping, or at least we can always get to it in Q&A. So I'm gonna start with Kyle. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I sure can. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm Kyle Honadell. I'm actually in Olathe, Kansas, which is the Kansas City area. I'm actually retired. I retired in July from my corporate job, and I've been doing sound mixing for my church for the last 25 years, just on weekends. And I wanted to get into it more full time. So I've actually picked up a few gigs here in town with a outfit called Knuckleheads, local venue, and got some good shows there. But I also want to go into business for myself. So I'm in the middle of investing in some equipment, soundboard, a Behringer mixing board, and some PA speakers, etc. So I'm just getting that kicked off. So this is pretty timely with anything financial because honestly, I'm never been in business for myself. I've been in corporate life for 40 years. So I'm a newbie.
Hey, well, thank you so much for making it. That's actually such a whole different area of financial wellness of starting this
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Huge. Thank you so much, Kyle, for being here.
You're welcome.
Billy.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Nikki, it's so great to meet you. Thank you so much for having this. And
Finally.
like I genuinely I finally I know. I mean like I genuinely mean that.
Yeah.
So hi. So my name is Billy. I uh, God, I'm in Nashville. I've been working in music for well, kind of working in music for like 5 years now. I recently started my own company where it's touring fan engagement, so like touring activations and just setting up fan zones at live shows and just interacting with fans in person, just helping fans um, like have a really good time and then having collecting data for artists and stuff. And I think that it would be cool. Well, I mean, of course, it's good to learn about like budgeting stuff, especially if it's like touring. So so stuff like that.
I love to hear it. Heck yeah. Well, thank you for being here. All right, Assad, unmute yourself.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hey, so like Kyle retired as well 4 years ago from fire service. Presently working as a production assistant slash band assistant for the band Live, if you remember them from the 90s. So yeah, and excited just to learn. It's a big part. I do a lot of this on the side as well as working with artists and getting them on some financial stability. So I'm just curious on learning more.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you. And Giacomo, I know you mentioned something already, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi everyone, I'm Giacomo. I'm from Milan, Italy, and right now I work as a specialist for tenders, Italian European tenders. So I'm trying to of economical, technical, and administrative part of them. But I'm, so passionate about music, songwriting process, and songwriting in general. And I love to work in the business side of the music industry. So I'm searching for something new.
Fabulous. Thank you. Always so good to have you. And Shell, hello. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Hello. Hi everyone. I'm Shell. Yeah, it's been a while. Thanks for having me. I'm a roadie. I do video. I just came back home not too long ago from tour. So, you know. But I've been working with Rachel actually throughout the tour. She came out a few times to coach us in finances, and I just wanted to hop on and one, support her, and two, like see if there's anything else I can learn. Also, I'm based out of Nashville. Because I'm always on the road, I don't meet a lot of people. So thought this would be a really cool way to meet others also in the industry. Yeah.
Who were you
Thanks
just
for
out with?
having me. I was out with the Lumineers. We just came back like a few weeks ago, like 2, 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
That is so badass. Awesome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for
Um,
having me.
yay. And then Anthony.
I am based around like Cali, Vegas. I typically do like bar merch around festivals and like brand ambassador work at conventions and stuff. So I'm kind of right now just in the general phase of it and just dip my toes in where I want to go a little deeper. So I will see you actually on the 10th in Vegas.
It's about to say, okay,
Yeah.
let's go. I can't wait to meet you in
Yeah.
person. Great opportunity to just spam you guys a little bit more about our events. We're having one in Vegas on the 10th, 5 to 8 at PRG. We already have 275 people going. And then LA is on the 12th for anyone based in California. On that Wednesday night, 7 to 10 p.m. We have 385 people RSVP'd going and over 100-person wait list right now. Like the max cap is 250. So it's going to be interesting. Gonna have a little bit of a wait list, a little bit of wine. But anyways, thank you guys for putting the cameras on. That's a huge part of gigs is just bringing people together, actually meeting each other. And so here I just saw Stephanie just turned yours on. If you want to give an intro, just a little introduction about you and what you maybe hope to get out of this, and then I'll go ahead and introduce Rachel and get started.
Hey, can you guys hear me? I think, oh, okay, my
Got
camera's
you.
on. Sorry, it like froze for a second. Hey, I'm Steph. I finally got a chance to hop on one of these master classes, so I'm very excited to be here. I'm based in Atlanta. I specialize in music and event photography and portraits. And yeah, I'm just always looking to learn and grow and connect with other people in our industry. So thanks for, putting this on and, putting gigs together in general. I even like tune into the podcast sometimes. It's really good stuff.
Thank you. Wow. No, we got a good team with gigs. Thank you for listening to the podcast too.
Yeah, no, it's really good stuff in there. And it's very long form, which is awesome, so it's like you can kind of just pick like, what are they doing today? Or, what's this job like? And, just I like learning about other people's jobs too, and like, how everything kind of like comes together.
Ugh, that's so good to hear. We have such big things coming 2026 too that hopefully will help with that. So really good to hear. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
And okay, we'll start here in a minute. So Felicia and Caitlin. Felicia, you want to go first? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi. I actually go by Mimi, but I haven't changed it on here. It's on the phone format. I'm like, I'm not gonna bother. But I go by Mimi. I'm also a roadie. Kind of transitioning into being more like an LD, but right now I've been doing a lot of L2 work this year. I just finished with Revolution on their California tour. And yeah, I'm trying to be more financially savvy, especially as a freelancer and not having that like 401k background to support me. So ever since I started in the industry, I've just been investing my own money. So I'm kind of hoping to learn a bit more about that from this. I just saw the email like 30 minutes ago and I was like, I better jump on that. So thank you. And I'll see everyone at the LA event. So I'll be there next week.
Yes. Love to hear that. Amazing. Awesome. And then Caitlin, and then we'll get started.
Hey everyone, Caitlin, and currently based in Nashville. I work at Ryman Auditorium as one of their local crew members. I am also in the finance side of things, got my MBA and very passionate about financial literacy. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is my thing. So I'm very excited to just connect and talk about or just listen to what the conversations are. And so yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And thanks for everyone who introduced themselves. And if you didn't get a chance, there will be time at the end as well. So how this is going to work, please keep yourself on mute the whole time. You can have your camera on or off. Awesome to have, smiling faces to look at while Rachel comes on. She's going to share a presentation here for about 15 minutes, possibly 20, talk through kind of the basics. While she's doing that, feel free to write in the chat any question that comes to mind. We will save those at the end. And Ginny here on the gigs team will call on people at the end to answer those questions. She will basically pin you up with Rachel so you get to ask that question and Rachel can directly answer you there. And if you want to drop your Instagram handle in here, gigs handle, LinkedIn, whatever it is that you want to connect with people, feel free, let that chat blow up, and we'll get started. So I'm going to do a quick intro of Rachel here. So Rachel Bronstein is the founder of Life's Jam, a financial coaching service specifically for the touring community. Rachel has a background in production, finance, and a passion for supporting behind-the-scenes professionals. So today she's going to dive deep into how she's helping people get organized, make sustainable choices, and secure their financial futures. And she is also an alum of the Gigs podcast. So if you have not heard that yet, go to the Gigs podcast, check her episode out because I learned a whole lot. And getting even just very specific about what kind of credit cards to get for this industry and for our lifestyle. So have your imaginations go crazy and ask her all the questions at the end. We will also have a link here for Ginny will post in that you can book sessions with Rachel. She has a free Q&A as well on this link. So now I will shut up and mute myself and everyone give it up for Rachel.
Thank you, Nikki. Okay, make sure you guys can hear me. I love the intros. So much good stuff. I heard lighting mentioned in Vegas. Just so you know, I'll be at LDI December 7th and 8th. If anyone's in Las Vegas then, I'll also be at Rock Lidditz, which is a fantastic conference in December as well in Pennsylvania. So, and then actually coming up next week, if you're not in Vegas for the Gigs event, you can come to the Echo Live event in Nashville, which is there for the touring community. It's a free workshop. So I'll drop some of those links at the end.
Amazing. Thank you. Take it away.
Okay, let me go start my screen. Bear with me for 1 sec.
As she's pulling it up, I just have to mention too, it's been really cool. We met at one of the first conferences I ever went to after starting gigs, and she had just started Life's Jam. And so we've gotten to kind of grow over these last 3 years together and seeing how she is busy as hell now. And it's really cool to see.
Okay, I feel like I'm sharing the wrong screen
here,
again.
just fix your display section.
Again, oh my goodness. All right, hold on, stand by. We practice this.
Technology is no fun.
It never works when you actually need it to. All right, let me just try this.
It's loading.
Hold on. I got you.
I would just edit that display setting and you're good to go.
Are we good now?
There we go.
Okay.
Yep. Go for it.
Okay, cool. Okay, welcome guys. I'm so happy to do this for you. I know I'm going to talk first and then ask questions. Normally I love it to be interactive, so we can kind of treat it like interactive and you can drop your thoughts and questions in the chat because I really do want to speak to the things that you want to hear about. I became a financial coach, just a little bit about me, 4.5 years ago. So I had started, as Nikki mentioned, in production finance. I started at NBC and my life took me from New York down here to South Florida. And I helped my husband set up his law firm. And in my free time, I really wanted to do something that kind of filled me up. So I volunteered at music festivals. And then during the pandemic, when I saw that all of live music was shut down, I really wanted to kind of make a pivot in my career, kind of get back to my entertainment and production roots and see if there was a problem out there I could solve. And so when I saw that everyone was suffering so badly during the pandemic, especially very early on, looking for rent money, starting the GoFundMe pages, I really wanted to see what I could put together. And a lot of people in the industry were telling me that there was a lack of financial literacy and support and education. So I learned about financial coaching. My mom was a financial planner, so I kind of had been brought up in that. And I went and became an accredited financial counselor and started coaching roadies. I hooked up with the roadie clinic when I first got started and started working with some roadies. My work has really expanded in the last several years. I built the financial coaching program at Music Cares last year and probably provided about 100 sessions through that program. I'm on the board of directors of Echo Live, a Nashville-based live events community for mental health, mentorship, education. Again, we have our big workshop coming up on November 11th. I'm a CMA ambassador. So if you want to learn more about becoming a CMA member, that organization really has supported me this whole way. I collaborate with them on workshops and stuff like that as well. And I see clients one-on-one, and as Shell mentioned, I work with tours. So I try to stay really busy. I really want to help so many people, and I love that I have these different channels to do that. I kind of break down looking at your finances in a couple of different ways. And when I first start getting, and today I'm really talking about the personal side, but because so many people are freelance based, personal and business go hand in hand. And I find that if you run your business finances well, that kind of translates to personal and vice versa. But if you don't really know where your business money is, a lot of times we don't know where our personal money is either. So if we can get a system for both, and we know how our two systems are kind of talking to each other. And when I mean system, I don't even mean anything sophisticated. I mean, how do you pull money from your business checking account into your personal checking account? Do you even have a business checking account? So kind of things like that. But to get started, before we can even kind of tackle any of that, I like to figure out what matters to you, because I truly believe that finance is just a math problem, but it's overcomplicated because we're humans and we have feelings and thoughts and emotions, and we might have grown up a certain way thinking about money that we take into adulthood.
PRG send to us, and what does it need to be?
Whoops. Okay, that's okay. We'll keep going. So the way we look at that is I kind of usually ask my clients what matters to you. So education, flexibility, freedom, safety, adventure, travel, like what are the things that light you up, that bring you joy? And then if you looked at your spending right now, would your money be going to those things? So a lot of times people are like, I'm not sure, maybe, oh, not really. Have you ever done a walk through Target and left spending $150 and like, what did I buy? Do I care about the things that I buy? Or the Amazon purchase that like in the moment of buying the Amazon feels really good. And then sometimes it's like, did you need it? Did I have it already? Could I have used something that, we get that high from spending. And so I always like to take people back to this exercise. And I have an exercise that I could share with you at a later time about how you kind of work through this for yourself. And so funding these kinds of goals, if you say you love travel and you want to figure out how to do that, we can build a plan that allows you to do that. That's where money empowers us to make decisions. So we always start with, where does your money go? So I don't really believe in creating a budget from scratch, because we can make it look perfect on paper, but it doesn't mean that it actually reflects our real life and what's happening in our real life. So I'd actually rather look back at your last 30 or 45 days and see where the money is going and kind of work from there as a baseline. I break up spending into a couple categories. You have your fixed expenses. So that's your rent or your utilities or your car payment. Those are pretty steady. Most people have an idea of how much they need for that category, and it doesn't vary a lot month to month. Then you have your flexible spending or your day-to-day spending. this is the stuff that can really change based on if you have an expensive week or what, some people are on tour and they spend no money, on the week that they're on tour. So this is all that kind of anything you would tap, you dip your credit card, all of that kind of fast exchanges with money, that would go in our flex category. And then the non-monthly category is a category that people sometimes have trouble thinking about. This is the holiday gifts come Christmas time, where everyone talks about, oh my gosh, my credit card bill, now I can't pay it in January. But we knew the holidays were coming. And if we had set up some intentions around it, we actually could create a habit that the money is there waiting for you. So come Christmas time, you know what you have to spend on your gift giving or your travel. And January, you're not faced with that feeling of frustration or anxiety or debt. So that category, I really feel like needs more of our attention. And we can talk about, how do you save with intention? How do you think about the things that are coming in your year ahead? So those are kind of the three ways I break it up. And then if you say, well, what about savings? So a lot of people used to think of savings as like, let me figure out all my money. And then if I have anything left at the end, I'll move some to savings. And I actually say in this industry in particular, we need to bump that up to the top. So I like to treat that retirement contribution and savings as part of your fixed bills. So we figure out what you can afford to contribute to those, and that is a monthly transfer into your savings account. And more on savings accounts in a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of note that. And then the other thing for freelancers is if you feel like, I don't know if I can give to my retirement contribution because I kind of don't know how my year is going to go, we can set up that high yield savings account so you're making that monthly transfer, but you're actually not funding your retirement account into the end of the year. So you've set it aside specifically for that purpose. And then at the end of the year, you're like, okay, I'm going to make the transfer. So if that, I kind of meet people where they're at, but I want to get you in the habit of doing something. And if you say, you tell me I should save 15%, there's no way I can save 15%. I always say, let's start small, let's build the habit so that you can get in the routine of it. And then with a raise or a bonus or a new job opportunity or an extra gig, maybe that is funding your account and we can rebump it up. All of the spending of everything that goes in there, usually when I look at somebody's money, and you guys can do this for yourself. So you can download your last 30 days of transactions. You can kind of code it. So like groceries, restaurants, rents, utilities, kind of do a summary of your last 30 days. Look at what's going to these three big categories. So housing, transportation, and food. So the reason I like to start with these are the three biggest things usually in our spending. And if they're not in check, it makes all the other stuff really hard. So if you find that you're spending 50% on housing, you may always feel like you never have enough, like there's never enough left. And so when there's not enough left, we're faced with kind of two things, right? We just are always feeling down and struggling. Or what happens sometimes is we put it on the credit card and then we can't pay it off. And then we're kind of faced with that credit card debt, which gets us on this hamster wheel of kind of always living with debt. And that comes at a price. So that comes right now, sometimes with American Express, it's 29.99% on that money. And so I help a lot of people who are having a hard time coming out of that. So these are some checks you can do for yourself to see how your numbers rank. Is your car loan and your insurance kind of keeping you under that 10% per year for transportation? So sometimes what happens, especially in this industry, and I'm not saying this happens to everybody, is life on the road is fast, it's loud, it's big. You've sacrificed a lot. And I have some clients who come home and feel like they deserve it. They want it. They have been living it, right? And so sometimes they overextend themselves, whether that's in a car payment that's a little high. Not only sometimes is it a little high, but when they look at how much they're driving their car, they're not even home half the year, but they want that car. So It happens with housing too, and it happens in a little bit of a different way. I have found that touring folks need stability. And so a lot of them are extending themselves a bit more on the housing because they find that that's like their place that gives them stability, gives them something to come back to, that, you know, kind of refills their tank. The tricky thing there also is that it's empty for a lot of the time. So it's an expensive line item and it's staying empty. So what I like to do in a lot of my work is come up with creative strategies of how we can solve some of these problems, but it's going to be unique for each person because everybody's kind of driven and willing to do certain things. I just met a touring person a couple weeks ago, and he said he actually gave up his housing this year. So when he's not on tour, he is either doing Airbnbs or hotels, and he's saying it's coming pretty even to him having a place because he's treating himself to nicer hotels because, again, he feels like he wants that or deserves that or needs that. So it's funny how those things play into our money, but they do every single day. So one other fun kind of note about these three expenses is that I have a music mentor in Nashville. When I first was talking to him, he's in finance, and he said, "Oh, my team gives me a hard time." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because I rent my car." So he does not own a car. His wife has like the family car. He travels a lot for work. And so when he needs a car he literally shows up in the office in a different rental car every week with a different, you know, state license plate. Because he did the math and he didn't have to pay for car repairs. He didn't have to maintain the vehicle. He had, you know, the highest status at the rental car company, so he could kind of pick what he wanted. And he decided it was cheaper to continue to do the rental route. So I was pretty shocked about that. And in his particular case, the numbers were more important to him than like the car he showed up at an event or meeting or party. So what drives people is all different, but if we can kind of tap into that, it can kind of guide us. So, and then last quick category is food. If you're able to keep these three items in check, kind of with these guided percentage rates, and knowing that housing, if you're in a big city that's expensive, most likely that's going to be a struggle to stay under 28%. These are just guides. So these are not hard and fast rules, but this will help you. If you can keep this in check, we can make the other stuff work. Here's an example of somebody who is taking home about $45,000 in take-home pay, because I took the taxes right off the top and I said, well, how would we make something like this work in these three buckets? I just wanted to give you an example because this was a little tricky to make work, and this did not include any debt payback, any tax payback. So sometimes freelancers get into a little bit of a pickle because if they got paid as a 1099 and they didn't save properly for taxes, I have quite a few clients that are on IRS payment plans. So this is assuming there's no debt owed. We're able to contribute, in this case, 12% to savings. I'd love over time for that to be closer to 20%. And that's a combination of emergency fund and retirement, just so everybody knows. And that in the flex category is $1,000 a month between food and other spending, which I have not seen anyone's credit card bill be under $1,000. So that would be impressive if we could pull that off. I would love it in this case. And then it only allowed us 3 categories for our non-monthly. So we might have other goals that we're working towards, like maybe we want to buy a house someday and we need to start that fund. And so this is a pretty lean budget. So if anyone's kind of managing on a lean budget, I feel for you. And this is even more reason to kind of figure out a way to keep it in check and keep that high interest debt away. So that we can find room in here to continue to build up. And reducing spending is not the only way to build up. Increasing earnings, taking on side projects, increasing your professional development. So you put yourself at a higher tier for what you're kind of employable for. Building that side up is a real advantage. So I know everyone talks about cutting expenses, but that's not always the case. That's only one half. Okay, so if we keep going, because I want to make sure I have enough time for Q&A. This is another part of what comes up a lot. So like now we've created our spending plan. So now what, right? How do you track this? And I help people set up how they track it in a couple different ways. And up till now, the information that I've kind of presented, you probably could find on the internet. If you asked AI, like how do I build a budget, it could probably guide you. But the things that are missing and the things we're kind of coaching is a value add, is that we take information and we figure out how you can take action on it to transform your life. So knowing it is only a piece of the puzzle, right? So like now we have to figure out, how do I take the steps forward to do something about it? And what's right for your neighbor, what's right for your friend might not be right for you. So how do you kind of stay true to what's important to you and what motivates you and actually get where you want to go? And sometimes we have, and awareness is that first key. Where do I even want to get to go? So if we can start to put those pieces together, we can make things happen. And so some of the ways I don't know if anyone's tried a budgeting app. If you have, feel free to jot it in the chat. Budgeting app is one way to go. I don't think it's the whole way to go. Keeping tabs, if you're super particular, you want to get in the weeds, kind of tracking every dollar, a spreadsheet might work for you. But I have found for busy touring people that it's actually in how you set up your accounts that can be your key to success. So with a lot of people, I have one checking account that's for paying the bills, one checking account that you're spending money. So that could either be the account that's paying the credit card bill, or for a lot of folks, we move to a debit card just to kind of get back on track for a little bit. You would get a certain amount of money either weekly or monthly into this spending account, and that's what you have. But it's great because if you don't use it, you don't lose it. So if you have set a budget for yourself that you have $500 a week to spend in this spending account, if this was a light week and you only spent $250, that money is staying in the account. So maybe, the following week you're back home and you want to go out with friends or whatnot, you have that money to use. The other best part of having a separate account for spending is that it's a no judgment account. So you have literally taken care of everything else in kind of your financial wellness plan. And this is the part that you get to control. This is the part you have a say in. So if you want to go on a shopping spree, you want to go out to fancy restaurants, you want to invest in a course, whatever it is that you want to use this money for, you can do it, and you can do it guilt-free. Because I don't know if anyone's ever experienced the fact that like they go to a store, they go to buy something and they're like, I don't know if I can afford this. And so if you buy it, you feel bad. If you don't buy it, you feel bad. So you don't even know where you stand with your own money. And so this separate account can really help give you some answers. The idea is to build intention so you can make educated decisions in the moment without it being too much work. And then the third account is a high yield savings account. So my favorite right now, I'm not incentivized by them, but it's called ally.com, ALLY.com. And what I love about Ally is it has virtual buckets. So you just don't put your savings money in there, you tell it where to go. So again, for freelancers in this space, tax bucket, kind of essential. So maybe you're taking 25 or 30% of every check, you toss it over into your Ally account. That tax money sits there. So when you make estimated tax payments or end of the year payments, you have it ready to go. Same can be for car repairs, vacations, gifts, whatever means something to you, you label it. Okay, let's see, how are we doing? Okay, so now we've taken care of our responsibilities. We've set aside some money to enjoy life. And now we have to take care of our future self. This is something that doesn't really get talked about enough in this industry because there are so many freelancers. And even if you're technically a W-2 for tour, that means that tour is paying you as an employee while you're on tour for the 5 or 6 months, but you're not getting any benefits, including retirement in most cases. So you have to be your best self advocate. You need to know what you're eligible to contribute to. You need to open that account. You need to fund that account, and you need to pick the investments. So get educated in this, in knowing what your choices are. Lean on professionals to help you. The second thing I will say is saving for the future isn't that sexy. It doesn't give us that like instant gratification that spending does. So we have to almost get out of our own way. So number 2 is to automate. again, even if you don't want to automate it straight to your retirement plan, possibly automate it to your high interest savings account. So at least it's there for you when you can move it over. And then the third thing is like, if we can't start saving 15% every year for retirement, which is kind of the rule of thumb right now of kind of what we would need to do, start with 5%, start with 10%. If you work for a company that has a 401k plan and they offer a free match, which a lot of companies do, take the free match. It's free money, basically. So if the company says, if you give 5%, we'll give 5%, that's a great place to start. If you need to do it on your own and you're not sure what you're comfortable with, maybe you start at 5% and you say every 6 months, I'm going to look at it again, or every year. And if I can bump it up a percentage or two, I'm going to do that. So you only have to kind of make that decision once or twice a year, rather than if every time you got paid, you had to make the decision to move money over to your retirement account, most likely we wouldn't do it. So that's what I mean by kind of getting out of our own way and automating that process. Here's a quick guide of kind of a fidelity chart of how much you should be saving by decade. I just wanted to throw that up there. For some people, it makes people super nervous. And I want to say this isn't a retirement deep dive, but even if you're not there, don't panic. There's different levers we can pull to kind of get you there. I just wanted to kind of build a little awareness today and just kind of let you know this, and then we can always talk about it more. And then after you've done everything, I always say, make sure you protect what you've built, right? You've worked really hard. You've built this career. You've built your savings. You're on the road to building wealth. You don't want something like a medical emergency with no health insurance to derail you, because medical debt is the #1 cause of bankruptcy. If you need help getting insurance in this field, check out the Music Health Alliance, which is they have open enrollment appointments right now. So they are doing consults with people to help them navigate the health insurance system. And that would be for insurance starting on January 1st. They're a great organization. Emergency fund, you may have heard it before, but 3 to 6 months of savings is another kind of rule of thumb. I think in this industry, we might even want to bump it up more, because it kind of depends how you treat your income. So I find that a lot of income in this field is fluctuating. So we go from earning to then not having any money for 3 months. So I actually think we need to kind of like build a cash reserves. So and look at what we think we can earn over the course of the year. So I don't really consider those 3 months of needing money a true emergency, because we can build you a plan that kind of eliminates those highs and lows. But an emergency fund would be there for job loss, a health emergency, even something as simple like you have an emergency in your family and you need to book a plane ticket. For some people, they might not have an extra few $100s of available money on a monthly basis to do that. And so if you can kind of squirrel away that money and build yourself a cushion, you just have a little bit more flexibility, and the next emergency won't end up on the credit card that you can't pay off. That's what we're trying to get off that hamster wheel of that situation. And then, legal and tax, so wills, beneficiaries, having contracts when able to, having good record keeping if you're keeping a business. I always say, check out freezing your credit, which I can provide a resource for, which will help with identity protection. And just knowing that mental, physical, and financial health are all intertwined together. And so we need to take care of them, all pieces of that, to kind of have a total wellness. And I think it's an important part. And thank you for listening to me. I really want to dive into those questions. So I just wanted to put up some information here. If you'd like some bonus materials or worksheets on like saving with intention or figuring out what values are important to you when budgeting, you can scan the QR code. I'll also drop the link in, and there's some of my contact information as well.
Thank you so much. Can we just all give it up for her real quick? I know you push like the clapping. I don't know. There's a whole lot of reacting things, but thank you so much. I'm gonna hand it over to Jenny, who's gonna lead this Q&A. So with the people who've already written in questions, but also if you click that react button and you can like, I know they have like a hand raise hand. It's another way that we can call on you. So again, Ginny's going to pin you up with Rachel, and take it away, Ginny.
Yes. So, like Nikki said, you can put your hand up, or I'll just call on you from a question that you have in the chat. First, we have Giacomo. So I'm gonna pin both of y'all next to each other if I can find you. 1 second. Where are you? Oh, there you are.
Here we are.
Add. There you go. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So,
Yeah.
thank you. Hi, my friend. So good to see you here.
Hi,
And
so good to see you too.
Thank you so much for doing all this to Nikki and the Geeks team for making it happen. And thank you so much to share your value, your immense value with all of us. I really appreciate it. So I have a question for you, and I'm so excited to have you here. Really, what are your best tips for young people that works occasionally, maybe in the live events industry, and wants to build a solid base for the future, and maybe also in order to finance some of their studies, universities, or something like that?
Yeah. So what you're describing is kind of what happens when we have competing priorities. So we want to invest in our future. We want to build a cash cushion. We want, so like the list, we have many things we want to accomplish. And we kind of need to like rank what's most important to us. I will say for anybody that wants to experience kind of what the live event industry looks like, understanding how the cash sometimes is there and sometimes is not is a really important part. So one way that you can kind of get used to that, if you're used to getting paid on a regular basis, is I have my gig workers put all of it, like let's say all of the money comes into their business checking account. Well, they pay themselves a personal paycheck every month. So they act like an employer and they say, so we figure out what they need to live. And let's say they needed $5,000 a month. So even if they made $15,000 that month, they're only transferring 5 over that month because that extra 10 is feeding 2 other months that maybe the work isn't there. So we build a plan like that so that they aren't taken on a roller coaster ride of this was an amazing month, I can go spend whatever I want, versus this is a month where it's terrible, like, and I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. So if you want to kind of start by seeing if you like that lifestyle, right? It's not for everybody. Some people need that predictable paycheck. So that would be one of the ways. Having the savings account where you keep have the labels for your goals. So if you want to be able to invest in university or a professional course or something like that, having a savings bucket where you have some extra money, you're putting it in that bucket and you see that bucket grow. I say that money is a tool to give us choices. So if you can use it as that and be really intentional with that, you will get to have more choices.
Okay.
I don't know if that helps a little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Love you, my friend.
Thank you, Giacomo.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, now we're gonna go to Stephanie. So I'll just go ahead and add you there. And go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Stephanie. Oh, wait, I can't hear you.
Sorry,
Okay.
I was on mute.
That's okay. So you wanted to find out about 401ks for freelancers?
Yes.
Okay, so are you, do you just do 1099 work or do you also have W-2 work?
I have W-2 work as well.
Okay, so when you're 1099, you're running your own business. I don't know if you're an LLC. It kind of doesn't matter, but you have a couple options. But what matters is kind of what is your net profit from the business. There are a host of different kinds of retirement plans available. So for individuals, we have the traditional and the Roth IRAs with $7,000 annual contribution limits right now. When you open it up to like, what do we have for self-employed businesses? We do have more options, but you'd have to be doing most of your income from there because they base it on what your net profit is. So what you earn minus the expenses of the business and what is left as profit. We have things called the SEP IRA, the Simple IRA, the Solo 401k. So if you wanted to do some research into those are some of the options that you have as a small business.
Great, thank you.
Sure, but for beginners, and this is not investment advice or tax advice, for a lot of people, especially on the younger side, they do gravitate to the Roth IRA because you take after-tax dollars, and so that money is growing tax-free, and you can take it out in retirement tax-free. So you have to do your calculations to see if it makes sense for you. But that's a pretty user-friendly way to get started. It's just that if you are in a place where you want to contribute even more than that $7,000, then we might need to look into one of those other options.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I just want to add a little note there for the Roth IRA. Ever since I started it years and years ago, I use a company called wealthfront.com. I love it. But do you have other options like that people can find?
Yeah, again, this is not promoting these brands, but any kind of big brokerage. So like Fidelity, Vanguard, Schwab all have really good platforms for individuals and businesses. They make it really easy. So especially Fidelity's website, I find that it's really easy to get started. Just one thing to keep in mind: you open the account, you move money to the account. Don't forget the third step. The third step is to pick the investments. I was sitting in a crew meeting not that long ago, and one of the band members said that her husband started it at 18, and they realized in their late 30s that he never picked investments. So it's been sitting basically in a cash account earning nothing. So time is your biggest advantage. So make sure that you have picked an investment. There's, do some research around that. I'm also happy to be a sounding board, but you just want to make sure you don't forget that third step. So Nikki, go check.
Yeah, man, I'm literally looking right now. And I'm also looking, I can give a referral code here if anyone does want to try Wealthfront too. Okay, I'll shut up now.
I know Shell's raising her hand.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead
and
spotlight you, Shelly, and go ahead.
Hi, Shell.
Hello. Good to see you.
Yeah.
I know I have an appointment with you later, but this was one of the things that I've noticed while I was traveling. I kind of carry like a little pouch for any receipts that, I may need later for tax purposes, but that kind of got a little bit out of hand too. And I've been trying to figure out what would be the best receipt organization, I guess, like system. Yeah, that could work for me. I was wondering if you have any like recommendations or have seen something that's worked for other people who travel a lot and may have a lot of receipts.
And if anyone here travels a lot and has a system for receipts, feel free to chime it into the chat. I'm a little, first of all, I hate paper. I lose paper. I have good intentions with paper, and then I don't know where I put the paper. So when I finish at a restaurant, let's say I'm at a business meeting, I quickly circle the date, circle the total, and write who I'm with. And then I snap a picture of the receipt and put it into my business receipts folder in my phone, which is then uploaded. So the best next step would be if I actually took those receipts from, let's say, the month of October and moved them into a folder on my computer or in the cloud, but I haven't done that yet. So I just have one big receipts photo folder. But what's great is Google Photos lets you search. So if I was looking for a receipt in particular, I actually could type in the words and it would find my receipt. So, but having a separate folder, so writing the details, snapping the picture. Liza's saying that she uses Ramp and it's absolute magic. Okay, amazing. We'll have to check out Ramp. I know some other people use Expensify. Other people, the QuickBooks is doing their accounting, they're snapping it and uploading it right to QuickBooks, but I know some people get frustrated with that. So you have to kind of try out whatever you think you can stick to is my rule of thumb for software, apps, and programs. It's whatever you can get in the routine and feels like a minimal lift for you to kind of get the job done.
Do you ever need the physical copies for any anything
No, you
at
should, the
all.
digital copy should be perfectly fine. I've even returned things off of the digital copy because they can scan the photo, the barcode right from my phone. So I haven't even needed it to return like personal things to Target or whatnot.
Okay, that's awesome. Really good to know.
Okay, and
I'll make
then
some notes.
Stephanie says she uses Genius Scan. So you could try out a few and report back to us.
I will. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much, Elle. All right, next we have Billy. I don't know if I can find him. Billy, if you just unmute yourself, I'll be able to find you a lot easier.
And then Luke, I see you. So
Yeah,
I
we
know
see you.
we'll come to you
Is he
next.
still in here? Oh, I don't think Billy's in anymore. Okay,
No,
so
Okay.
I am. I'm sorry.
Oh.
It disconnected. I'm sorry.
you're so fine. Let me find you. Oh, there you are. Okay, I found you. It's just so complicated for no reason. Okay, go ahead.
It is. My Wi-Fi keeps timing out. I'm sorry. Hi.
Hi, Billy.
Thank you so much for doing this. Good afternoon. I wanted to see what was. I do know my question. I promise. Wait, here it is.
You're
So-
fine.
So I recently started I'm in the process of getting a small business off the ground that deals with touring. How much should a small business allocate towards the business itself versus like personal funds?
Well, the personal stuff, a lot of it is kind of non-negotiable, right? Like if you rent or own, you have a mortgage payment or a rent payment, you have utilities. So there are some basics with kind of what you need to live. It's how you fund that. So I would do a rough calculation of kind of what you think you need. If you're willing to make sacrifices like getting rid of streaming services or I'm trying to think of what you could cut kind of that flex category of day-to-day spending if you're kind of willing to trim that down to be really lean, and you can kind of get a number like what's your basic budget that you need, then you could kind of back into it. And are you going to be supporting yourself solely from this new kind of touring business, or are you going to have supplemental income coming in? I don't know if you know yet.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I won't take up too much everyone's time here. It won't be worth it until it actually is, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
But
Nikki and I can relate to that.
so I'm sure it won't be worth it until it actually is. But once I get like a client or two in, I will be able to quit my job.
Okay, so I started my business having a full-time job, and I had a full-time job for about a year. And then I was still doing financial coaching for the music industry, and I was helping another business with women-based financial coaching on a part-time basis. So I had part-time steady work coming in, and it wasn't actually until last June, so year 4, that I stepped away from all side gigs and I was able to do Life's Jam full-time. So I will just say that everything takes longer and is more expensive than you can possibly think, even service-based businesses. So there will be things that will come up. There will be programs that you need to grow your business or to support your business so it's a streamlined feel for the consumer. It doesn't mean that you can't test something out and hold down your job in the meantime. But it wouldn't hurt to start a savings account where you're at least putting money for the business and being very intentional with how you spend your dollars. I see a lot of people, not just who are starting new businesses, but who have businesses, and their answer is, don't worry, it's a business write-off. Okay, business write-offs we still have to pay for. We get a small tax advantage for them, but we still have to have the cash flow to just pay for them. So as long as you don't get yourself into that pickle of thinking that everything is an investment in the business, and that, kind of money doesn't matter. But some people are more risk averse or not risk averse. So you might say, I need X dollars for this project, and I'm just going to do whatever I need to do to get this project off the ground. You'll also find, as Nikki and I have, that when you travel for music conferences, even if you're a speaker, you are comped your registration fee, but you're pretty much still on the hook for your travel. And that can add up. And while you can certainly view that as a marketing expense, again, you need to have the kind of cash flow to support that. I would hate for you to get into a situation where you're financing that, especially at a high rate. I certainly know business owners that do finance it, but just be careful of kind of what you're agreeing to if you're borrowing funds. I don't know if that's helpful.
It does. It
And
is.
if it helps at all, I started this with just using all of my savings until they ran out. And then I had to raise capital from investors, and it's been a nightmare. So if you can avoid raising capital from investors, keep that part-time job until it's like, all right, now I know if I can put all of my time into this, then it will be even more successful. But any of it is a risk. And so, but if you have to live on credit cards for a little bit, like, again, it's the risk in financing and things. But congratulations, and happy to talk more about it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Separately, would love to hear about it for sure.
Bootstrap all the way. No, anyway, I'm done taking up everybody's time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
you're good.
You.
Not a problem.
Thanks, Billy. All right, we have time for one more question. Luke, I will pin you, and then we're gonna have to hop.
Hello.
Hi, Luke. How are you?
Good to see y'all. You kind of touched on it a little bit ago, and it kind of relates to the question you just dealt with. But I've heard for years, like freelance friends of mine say, they have a business. I assume it's like an LLC, even though that, it's just them. I assume it's an LLC, and then they get paid through that, So I just wonder, obviously it helps with like write-offs, right? But for me, I've never understood it enough to justify doing it, because having your own business as an LLC and all that costs money too. You have your annual dues and whatnot. Like, other than and I also feel like if you are doing it for write-offs, you have to have a lot of expenses before you're really justifying that. So like, I guess I just wanted to get your opinion on that. Are there things other than write-offs that I'm not that are benefits to it that I'm not catching? And if so, are they like, is it justifiable or really necessary to do that as a freelancer? Because I've been freelance for 20 years and I haven't done it yet. And like I said, I know people that do it, and it just like, is it really worth it?
Sure. So great question, comes up a lot. People don't understand a lot about LLCs and S corps. But just so you know, you get to have write-offs. The LLC is a business structure. So for tax purposes, even if you're an LLC, your write-offs are flowing through your Schedule C on your personal tax return if you're a single member LLC, which is what most people are. Okay. So it really does not affect write-offs. So it is going on the Schedule C of your tax return, whether you're a sole proprietor or single member LLC. The biggest difference, which may be what some of these people are doing, is they are becoming LLCs and electing to be taxed as an S corp. And that's probably a longer discussion than today, but I just want to say you need to be kind of making about a net profit over $60,000 or $70,000 for it to be worth it to entertain being an S corp. S corps come with filing their own tax returns, so there is an expense in that. You have to prepare payroll. You become an employee of your own company. There are potential tax savings, which is why people do it. But you can have write-offs as a sole proprietor. I will say the reason that LLCs get some attention is because that has limited liability protection. So your personal is separated from your business. So and again, I'm not a tax expert, please, check with your accountant. But if you own a home or you have assets, people are wanting to protect those. So if you got caught up in a lawsuit or a problem with your business, your personal stuff is not roped into that. Regardless of what you are, I always believe in separating the income and expenses. So even if you're a sole proprietor and you're treated as one unit from the government, I still say get that business checking account, get that business credit card. It really does. It helps a lot with organization and write-offs and making sense of kind of where things are at. Because I would say tracking is more important than anything, because even if you're an LLC, a single member LLC is not required to separate business checking and spending, but you're missing write-offs if you don't track it. I will say that you will never be able to like recreate it exactly the way
the year happened when you're doing it at April and trying to look back at a whole year of data. You're much better off doing it as you go to catch things.
And then I guess on that note, then similar, because, you know, and you spoke on this too, 1099 versus W2, most artists everyone used to, it was always 1099 and now it's almost exclusively W2, because that gets tricky with write-offs too then, right? Because
yes,
my
because
understanding is like you can't
write it
write
off.
stuff off.
You can't write it off if you're the W2, so you'd have to have other 1099 work that you can write it off. But I actually have to hop on a client session now. But Luke, if you'll be at the Echo Live workshop, I'm always happy to talk more about it.
Planning to be there, yeah.
Okay, cool.
See you there.
So, sorry. Just mentioning, thank you, Rachel. Everyone else can hang on, and we can all kind of continue talking. Oh, she's still here. Okay, cool. So thank you, Rachel. Appreciate you making the time for us, and good luck with all the speaking engagements, and we'll see you all around.
Thank you so much. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.
Okay, anyone else? I'm not even going to try to answer a question, but if any, I wanted to at least just keep this open in case, anyone would to chat. Nashville people, again, touring career workshop, which is now Echo Live. Is that 12th, I believe, or 11th? I think, Luke, you said you're going. Awesome. Are you speaking at all?
11. No, I'm not. I'm just going to go and learn from other people.
Well, I do want to also say that Luke has a book for tour managers. What is it called?
The Efficient Hustle.
The Efficient Hustle. So if anyone,
show
it off.
Hold on.
Let's go. That's an awesome cover too.
Does
anyone else have anything they want to kind of shout out? And also, I want to hear anyone else that's going to LA or Vegas.
I'm going to Echo Live event. I'll see you there.
Amazing. Awesome. And then lastly, Jenny, if you can just put it in the chat one more time, the link to book Rachel, in case you guys didn't see it. She check that out. If you have any questions, follow Life's Jam and you can DM her too. And she's awesome. So hopefully you can meet her in person. We are going to have another Nashville Gigs event in December. Haven't figured out a date yet, but it's going to be kind of more holiday, but a gigs industry night. Given our turnout, we're gonna have to find a really big venue because we have like over 400 people that are usually coming. It's crazy. That's Nashville. We're gonna have an Orlando event actually as well in January, and our partners and all that. I'll announce soon, and then a lot of big things coming next year. So our next Mentor Masterclass is gonna be coming soon. I believe we're going to actually be talking taxes on that one, getting really nitty gritty with that. So if you guys are interested in learning more about that, any other announcements, Jenny, that we need to make? I just appreciate you all making it. Again, please connect with everybody here, and thank you guys for being part of the Geeks community.
If you're in Nashville or like around, there's 3G Productions is opening an event or opening a space here in Nashville. And so you can RSVP through our bio. It's free. It's just like an open house. And we'll be there, a photographer and everything. And it seems really cool. It's this Wednesday night or this Wednesday, like afternoon into evening.
November 5th from 12 to 6 p.m. They're kind of describing it as like Nashville's LDI, like a very small, they're going to have manufacturers there and just good opportunity to network and everything. So 12 to 6, register in our bio. Thank you all. We'll follow up with an email and reach out with anything as always. Thank you guys.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of your day.
Thanks, Nikki.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.